Welcome to Till All Are Done, the show where we aim to cover one toy for every character in the Transformers universe. G1 is our current science experiment, and if you want to follow along with the series from the very beginning, check out the playlist linked in the description or click the card in the corner. But the best way to stay tuned for new episodes is to subscribe and see which figures I'm going to showcase next. So picture this. I'm in my first year of college, which is 2013. Just to give you some context, I'm at the campus and I see that they're having a book fair in the common grounds. Okay, sweet, something to do before class. Let's go check it out. Browse, search, look around, and then I see this weird box. It's got a Decepticon logo on it and says volatile specimen enclosed. What a way to get my attention. Not knowing anything about it, I bought it. I couldn't open it at the time, but I took a chance on it because it looked cool. Turns out it ended up being a Shockwave toy, and the first one to grace my collection. Shockwave is definitely the weirdest Decepticon of the lot. In the G1 cartoon, he is this fiercely loyal scientist who takes care of the operations on Cybertron while the rest of the gang fights down on Earth. He's so loyal, in fact, that he stuck to his post as it was for 4 million years, waiting for Megatron and the Decepticons to return. But other fictions like to depict Shockwave as this mad scientist who has his own agenda. He may be Megatron's second in command, but make no mistake, he will always serve himself and what makes sense to him. In the War for Cybertron trilogy storyline, without spoiling too much, he's outright in it for himself by the end of it. So this toy was an absolute surprise addition to my collection well before I started taking collecting seriously. You really never know what you will collect next, and some figures find you rather than the other way around. So because of that, let's take a look at this San Diego Comic-Con 2013 exclusive toy, which is Voyager Class Shockwave's Lab.
The Transformers!
Right away, there's two things that stand out to me. The first one is how spiky and angular he is. I haven't watched any of it, but as I understand it, the Transformers Prime version of Shockwave is a maniacal, evil-looking bastard, and this toy is no different. This version of the toy is a repaint of the Transformers Prime Beast Hunters toy line Shockwave, where you get a lot of the bad guys looking pretty edgy and angular, almost off-putting, but it's truly unique design style in the Transformers mythos. And it brings me to the second thing I noticed is that it's in its G1 colors. The original toy had a darker paint scheme with more red detailing, but now we got the more familiar lighter shade of purple with the yellow eye and some yellow highlights. It's got light piping, so it will shine yellow when up to the light, although I wish it was a bit brighter. Oh well. And too bad it doesn't retain the really grotesque and amazing looking Beast Hunters armor of the original toy, which you can attach to the figure. They could have just recolored the red parts yellow and repainted. I don't think we could have broken the budget for an exclusive release, but okay. However, a very nice thing about the figure is the build quality. There are almost no gaps in it aside from a small one on the back of the biceps and another small one on the back of the thigh. The rest of it is completely solid with a completely sculpted and detailed torso plus these chunky legs. This figure feels great in hand, and they used a really nice amount of plastic, making the build of this toy with practically no hollowness aside from those few spots I mentioned. The only thing that's not of the same build quality are the spikes on the cannon and the treads. It's made of a soft plastic and a few of mine are starting to bend out of shape. That's an annoyance on an otherwise well-built toy. But I love the look and shape of the chest. And look at this well-done use of transparent plastic. It's molded into the plastic shell, so it's unlikely to break because you never have to put any force on it. We've had a few examples of toys already not using the translucent plastic correctly, but I'm glad I have a chance to show you how it should be done here with this. The red plate with the circuitry lines running through it looks fantastic. It shouldn't be red if they were really aiming for G1 accuracy, but I don't really care all that much here. The back is also nicely detailed with a black spine running down the back. It's all in service of that spiky and sharp look I mentioned earlier. The fixed Hyperflux Cannon is the standout feature of this toy, no doubt. What's even cooler is that the left tank tread can unwind and connect to the cannon to form a power cable. Very flavorful feature the designers came up with here. I also love the weapon gimmick and it really works great. All you have to do is press this button here and the mechanism will open up the 2 panels and start spinning. Button mash and it gets even better. I particularly like the fact that the panels open up and reveal the laser inside, which is the same yellow as the Shockwave's eye. If it lit up, that would have been even better. It would have been a cool effect, but I know that would have definitely made the engineering more complicated. This Hyperflux Cannon is just super cool and my favorite part of the toy. For this San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, the box it came in is an interesting part of the overall package. Normally, I don't care about the package, as I usually get my stuff secondhand, but I'm sad I don't have mine anymore. I tried looking for it in every box, bin, and tote I have, but unfortunately, I couldn't find the original box, and that's a shame because it's a really cool when you have it all set up. I mean, the box is just cardboard and a plastic tube, like it's not a full-on command station or anything like that, but the presentation is nice with the mysterious box. I mean, that's what drew my eye that very fateful day. So no box, but I did find the Predaking that comes with it, which is a repaint of a Transformers Cyberverse Predaking figure. This little guy is pretty neat, being made up of shades of blue transparent and opaque plastic, and it's not in the bad way that it's thick enough that it won't be a concern. Not a whole lot of details paint wise, but I got a lot of detail in the sculpting. This thing is spiky and sharp all over, just like Shockwave. You throw this thing at your little brother, it's gonna do some damage, that's for sure. The Dragon Beast mode is cool and can wield a pressure-loaded rocket launcher. It's a cool add-in for the toy despite being a simpler toy. It's definitely on the little brother scale of things. If you get the CybertronCon version of this toy, your Predaking will have orange, translucent, and opaque plastic instead. Articulation is surprisingly pretty good for this figure despite the built-in gimmick. Head just rotates 360 degrees and doesn't have any tilt or nod capabilities, but that's fine. Shoulders will rotate 360 degrees if you don't hit the tread backpack. In order to do this with the cannon arm, you will need to unhook the tread cable, which limits the arm's articulation. The shoulders can also lean backwards thanks to the transformation. His regular arm can shoot outwards well past 90 degrees to more like 135 degrees, as long as you lift the shoulder pauldrons, so that's really good. You also have a 90-degree elbow on the right arm and it can bend backwards a bit. Plus you have a wrist on a ball joint that will not only rotate 360 degrees, but can also bend inward 90 degrees. On the cannon arm, you get less bend on that elbow, but I'm thankful it bends at all. You have a 360-degree bicep swivel on both arms and a 360 cannon swivel on the left arm. No waist rotation, but legs can ratchet 90 degrees outwards and backwards. Only about 45 degrees forwards though, which is a bit of a bummer. Leg swivel only goes 90 degrees, but you have a full 360 knee swivel. One thing I like about the knee swivel is that it locks into place once you turn it to its neutral position, which is a really nice feature. Knees only bend 90 though, but they move on ratchet joints like the legs, so that's good. The feet don't really articulate, but you can tilt them down and extend them as part of the transformation, so if you can find use for it, I guess that's something. So with this articulation, I could get some cool posing footage for this video, which is completely illogical for this Decepticon to comprehend, but looks really good on the video. So Shockwave has always been a tough character to create transformations for because his original used to be a ray gun, something Hasbro could no longer make due to regulations on toys. Same thing that happened to Megatron. So they've made him transform into a bunch of different types of spaceships, but this one is a tank, an H-tank to be exact. And for the most part, I like the way you transform him to get to that mode. It's not dead ass simple, but it's not overcomplicated either. The main thing you have to know is how to manipulate the limbs to get them into the places they need to be. Position the legs correctly, and then you have to bring down the chest plate to lock into the legs to make the front of the tank. Then you have to fold down these panels, which will allow you to bring the Hyperflux Cannon to the top of the tank, and then the right arm hides under the tank in this Michael Jackson hee Shamon pose where he's grabbing crotch, or I guess that's his shiny metal ass. The problem I have with positioning the arms is that even if you do it correctly, the arms always just pop out of the shoulder sockets. They are not pinned on and are just tension joints, so if you hyperextend the arms while transforming them, they will pop out. This thing is not supposed to parts form the arms, and they should have made the arms a bit longer, at least enough to transform him properly. I bet they made the joint tension fit on purpose as a failsafe so that kids don't break the joint in the process of trying to transform him. Other than this issue, I think the transformation comes together pretty nicely, and we have our H-Tank after you position the back treads in place. Here is Transformers Prime Shockwave in his H-Tank alt mode. I think it looks pretty menacing, like if he came around the corner I'd be dropping Energon cubes in my Fruit of the Looms as I run away. The Hyperflux Cannon still functions exactly like it does in the robot mode, so that's great for the playability factor. I think proportionally it's a bit awkward. If this thing is an H, it is barely because the back treads are pretty small and the front legs that make up the other section of the H-Tank are massive in comparison. I mean, it's nitpicking here. The design is still very interesting and fun for Shockwave, but at the same time, I think they could have designed it a little better. Maybe the back treads could have extended out to make them longer while still packing in nicely for the alt mode. I do have a few issues with the front of the tank, as the only thing holding the legs in place is that front chest plate. So sometimes as I'm rolling the tank around, it might come unpegged if I didn't properly position everything in the first place. It's finicky is what I'm trying to say, and you really have to peg the chest plate in its correct slots or it could pop out. On the topic of rolling, the front wheels are these monster looking things, but on the back, the tank treads have these dinky little mushroom pegged on wheels inside the treads themselves. It's a really weird design choice that I wish they thought about more before producing the toy. It's just not that clean looking, and it bothers me how kibbly it is. It's clear that's the head. It's clear that's the arm. They tried to do it without parts forming, but those are the shoulders, pretty clear as day. I'll say it again, the Beast Armor and the G1 colors would have made this H-Tank look so much cooler, and they tease us because they left the holes on the feet where they're supposed to go. Basically, they just took it out of the box and left the toy as it is with new paint. A few other things bother me about the alt mode, but I think it's still unique. The Bumblebee movie Shockwave toys, both Voyager and Core Class, do kind of take on this H-Tank design and put their own spin on it, but it was done here first with this toy. In the end, this toy was a delightful pickup that I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 stars. I certainly have gripes with it, but again, for the most part, the build quality of the toy combined with the excellent design of the mold really make this a showpiece on the shelf. When I walk by my display and see the massive cannon, I can't help but press the button a few times. I'm an absolute sucker for gimmicks because that's the era that I grew up in. Plus, this toy is unmistakably Shockwave in a G1 deco aside from the shape of him, and I guess that was the appeal to make it a San Diego Comic-Con chase toy. I'm not sure how tough finding this particular version is, but you could always look for the Beast Hunters version, and that's cool because you have the advantage of getting the Beast Hunters armor with it. As flavorful and thematic as the lab portion is, it's kinda not necessary to have. The Predaking figure is pretty mid if I'm honest, and really not worth chasing down. You can get the Cyberverse version if you want it, and it'll be in color. The Shockwave mold itself is good stuff, and whichever version comes your way first for a good price, I think you should grab it unless you're not that crazy about the H-Tank or you have concerns about the shoulder joints or something like that. This will be the only Shockwave I need for my collection unless I can get my hands on that damn War for Cybertron Siege version because it looks incredible and I hear nothing but good things about it. I need it. That's another one. It's going to be a long time till all are done, but we've carved out a nice amount of characters in this first episode of the Transformers. Saying like that, it sounds more daunting. We're not even done the first episode, but we'll go from one team scientist to another in the next episode, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it when it drops. Also sound off in the comment section if you have another Shockwave figure you think is great. Until then, thanks for stopping by the JR Magnus channel, and peace out.